Hello, I'm Bood and welcome to episode 7 of my Journeyman series, The Road to Anywhere. First off, I just want to say thank you. If you're tuning in for episode 7, you keep coming back for something I didn't think anybody would like. If you are still loving it, you can help me and the series and my channel by smashing the like button for me. It's a big help, so thank you very much. Now, the story so far, most of you will know. We started off in the German 3rd Division with Fortuna Köln. We got them promoted through the playoffs. I then thought I was going to Serie B with Livorno. Didn't realise they'd been relegated, so we went to the Italian 3rd Division. But I met a new assistant, and me and him together got him out through the playoffs, and we won the Serie C Cup. But then I took the Salernitana job, which was great. It's like a sleeping giant, really. It's such a good club. It was brilliant. And then in the last season, of course, with that great young squad of mine, we won the Serie A title. And at the end, I stayed true to my word and I resigned. There was no jobs. None. There was 2, weren't there? But they weren't where I wanted to be. So I've got loads to share with you. This season has been a great story. It's been eventful. Different things have happened. It's been the best season yet and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's get stuck into it. And the reason we're starting the story here is because there were no jobs available. But this summer, this tournament happened. And what happens after every big tournament? On this game, lots of managers get the sack, so there was about 8 or 9 available international jobs, and the first job I was offered was the Austria job. Now I do know they've got a good regen. I've seen a good regen somewhere about. He's a great player, but yeah, I'm not feeling it. Why would I want to be Austrian manager? No offence to Austria. I got offered the Italian manager's job. Now I can see why. Because obviously I've got good stock in Italy now, and I've won the Italian Cup, I've done well, I've got teams promoted, I've won the Serie A title, so I've got a great reputation in Italy. I know a lot of the players, I've got some good youngsters in my own ex-team in Salernitana, who, by the way, are still not a major club. Now, with people leaving to go international jobs, other jobs become available, like I said, it's a domino effect. A snowball rolls down the hill and jobs start pinging up everywhere. And the first job that pinged up in a top flight league was this one. And straight away it appealed to me. I wanted to go to France, I'll be honest with you. I love that country. Went every year as a kid. And it's somewhere I wanted to go next on my journey. I've been to Germany. I've been to Italy. France. It'd be brilliant. The fans wanted me. The press. Now, I've not done much of this Journeyman stuff on newer games. And I went for the job. I had an interview. It went brilliantly. I told them everything they wanted to hear. Right? And then afterwards, great little touch this. The press came out and said, BOODFM, he's had an interview. That is a shoo-in. That job is his. If he's got an interview, no one else is going to get it. Well, that was absolute bullshit. I couldn't believe it. They loved me interview, but they decided to go in a different direction. Now, over in my country of birth, England, they also wanted a new manager. I was nowhere in the picture. I didn't apply for it. I wasn't even linked with it. Eddie Howe got the job. But over in the Premier League, which I haven't got active, by the way, so that I don't get tempted to go to England. This is the whole point of this save. I don't want to play in England on it. That's all I ever do. But managers started to change about in England. He was Marseille manager. He was now Chelsea manager. But he'd already played most of his pre-season. He'd even made some transfers. But when that job came up, I got super excited. Now, I've played a sports interactive management game for 21 years, from Championship Manager to Football Manager. But I've played manager simulators a lot longer, on different versions, on older computers. And in the early 90s, I was playing a certain version for a very old computer, most of you have probably never heard of, right? And at that time, it was the early 90s, right? There was a team on it that was easily the best team, and it was Marseille. They lost the Champions League final, then they went on to win it a couple of years later. And I love them playing in white. And we all do this. We've all got our favourite team from different countries. And if you've ever asked me who my favourite team in France is, I'd always say Marseille. I've been there. They've got a brilliant stadium. I think they're the biggest team in France. I could not be more happy. Not only was I going to France, but I ended up going to France and being at the team I love the most. Marseille. It's like a sleeping giant. If there's anyone who you could take over and try and top up Paris Saint-Germain, it's a team like this. Now, you will know that I play 4-4-2, a very attacking forward 4-4-2. I always have. I think I've always played something similar since I've come onto YouTube. And it's great. Or anything you ever watch of mine, I'm always at the top of the goal scoring charts, but I'm always near the bottom of the defence charts. I'm only successful because I usually tend to score more than the opposition 3-2s, 4-2s, them kind of games. But I wanted to do something new anyway, and when I came in, looked at the squad, not only was it pretty good, but it was all built around one striker. So I decided to make some new tactics. The club has got some money, but I haven't got any real wiggle room. And I didn't have enough room really to do full-scale changes. But I didn't really need to. I wanted to bring in a striker, a left winger, maybe a centre-half and a goalkeeper. And that's all I could do. I needed to sell on some players as well to squeeze that money around. But it was very annoying because it's like we've got all this money, but I can't pump that money into the wages. They won't let me, which is probably a good thing. Because when it comes to Salernitana, I didn't leave them in the greatest way, did I? And I think I need to do things a bit differently this time. Before we get into the transfers and all the other news, because there's loads to get through, it's been pretty cool. I've loved it, right? Let's just talk about the two tactics I came up with. And the first one was this, pretty standard one you see all the time. The thought behind it was having instead of two strikers, having one further back to hopefully not let as many goals in, because I always let goals in. So I kept the mentality as positive. When it came to the positions, I kept the centre-halves as centre-halves. Instead of inverted wing-backs, I went to wing-backs, but changed my wingers to inside forwards to see if it's any different, having just the three up front. I've got the false nine because I think he drops deep, doesn't he? That's what I was reading about it. He drops deep and gets the ball. Everyone else might charge forward. I'm not that good at tactics. I just try and think of things in my head and see if they work. But my next one was this one, and this one I was quite excited about. Now, I've gone for an attacking mentality with this, right? But when it comes to this, I was reading someone's blog on Twitter, and they were going on, they'd done the same thing. So basically, I've kind of copied. But, that's the thing with tactics sometimes. I don't really know what I'm doing. Sometimes, you're best reading or watching other people and just take things from people. So with this, I thought I'll keep the wingers, and I'll keep a poacher up front, because I like a poacher. I normally have one. They seem to work well for me. But this thing, I've never even heard of these. But it sounds really cool. And apparently they work really well with an anchorman. So I thought, let's test that out. I've kept the wing backs, but I changed it to ball playing defenders. Just from reading someone's article, so I've gone for this. And I quite like the idea of it. All this, it's all about playing out defence, keeping the ball, maybe playing prettier football. Completely different to what I normally do. I normally have a direct style, don't I? Just go for it, a bit long ball really. So I just wanted to do something different. Now when it came to the staff, the only thing they said I had to do was I had to keep the director of football. I don't use a director of football. I don't see the point in him, but I can't sack him. So this geezer, who he's alright, Anadoni, he's nothing to shout about. I can't get rid of him. But everyone else was bang average. So I sacked the lot of them, and look what I've done. This, sometimes, is more fun than building a squad. I love it. Now, I get my little book together here, right? And I write, I don't know if you can see that, all my needs, and then I fill them in. I am sad, seriously, right? But this is what you need to do. I always believe a great staff brings you great success. And this staff is amazing. Now you'll know as well that I had an assistant manager at Livorno. We won a cup together. I went to Salernitana and was okay. I brought him over and we won cups and leagues and it was all great. He's at work, he's available, but he's well into his 60s, and I just thought, maybe it's time, new tactic, let's freshen this thing up. Let's find a new number two that's more my age. And I found 39-year-old Yannick Kahuzak. How good is he, by the way? His preferred formation is similar to what we want to be playing, but, motivating 18, man management 17, judging playability 18. He is top class, and he's only 39. He's studying. I've sent him on his A license, which is great. We'll try and get him on his pro pretty soon. He's a handsome fella, and as you can see, when it came to the staff, great. I won't run through all that, but basically, we've got the best coaching team in the land. When it comes to scouting, great. Honestly, some great staff out there. The more leagues you have, not only do you get loads of wonder kids, too many. I keep saying this, too many wonder kids on this game. Too many young players. Regens are amazing. There's loads of staff. Now, when it comes to the facilities, we've got good facilities, but this board is brilliant. Not only did they just give me the job after the interview, they just really chilled out. The only thing I've had an issue with is that director of football, but the stadium is a great stadium. I love the stadium, right? Beautiful part of France, Marseille. Great weather. They don't own it though. So we've got money. We can't wiggle a room in the wages. Can't buy anyone really. Now I bought some players, don't get me wrong, but I can't spend the money, right? But they said, yeah, we'll buy it. So they put the plan in place to buy the stadium, because at the minute we're paying 4.48 million a year. So hopefully by the end of the season, the stadium's going to be ours. I asked to upgrade the training facilities. They said, yeah. I asked to upgrade the youth facilities. They said, yeah. I asked to upgrade the data analysis facilities. They said, yeah. So like I said, I did have some money and had a little bit of wiggle room, but only enough to buy maybe 3 or 4 players. So that's all I've done. And like managers tend to do sometimes when they move on, they'll try and bring players they know with them. And seeing as Salernitana are in such financial woes, I don't know why, they're willing to sell some players. Now the first one I went for was my star striker, who can play on the left, Fog Lear, or as we all call him, Foggy. He cost me an arm and a leg eventually. He's worth 61 million though. He's just won the Serie A title with Salernitana, and he jumped at the chance to work with me again. I said earlier I needed a left winger, and he just popped up in my search. Interested, he had all the attributes I wanted. Now the thing is, I had him at Livorno, remember? That's when I first came across him as a kid. And then when I went to Salernitana, I thought I need to bring that kid, and we bought him from Livorno. And now I've bought him from Salernitana. So this is the 3rd club we've been together. So I know him as a player. I know what he's capable of. And I think he's a class winger. He's great. The next player was a goalkeeper. I had a young keeper who's pretty good. And a really bad goalkeeper. And I thought, I need a goalkeeper. Now, one of the things I was excited about when I took this job was, I don't know if you remember, a couple of years ago at Salernitana, I found a great keeper at a good price in Brazil. And it was between me and Marseille. And he chose Marseille. Forced me to find another keeper, João Paulo, you remember him at Salernitana? Great keeper, but he wasn't as good as this kid. And when I got here, he wasn't here. I'm like, where is he? Just gone, hasn't he? Marseille just sold him to someone, I think RP Leipzig. Next to the midfielder. And I talked about this. Do you remember the right back I bought for Salernitana? Vlad. £1.4 million release clause. Well, this kid, and he was Serbian, wasn't he? Well, this kid's in Croatia. £3.3 million release clause. Great young player. And it just makes me think about Serbia and Croatia. Why have they got all this great young talent with tiny, tiny minimum fee release clauses? So I've activated the Serbian and Croatian leagues. I might go manage there one day, but I'm hoping more of these kind of players will come available, because look at him. And my last decent signing for a decent amount of money was Jorge Di San Pedro. I took him from Milan, and he's only 3-star, but don't be fooled by that. I think he's great. So I'd offloaded some players, some like mid-range lads who were in the mid-20s, worth like 20-30 million. Don't need to worry about them. I needed to try and create some wiggle room, which didn't happen. They still won't let me put any transfer money into the wages. It is what it is. We're overspending, and they won't let me touch that. But, you know, we've eased the wage bill a little bit. And I went to a loan market. Some great players in that loan market. Seriously. And the first one I bought, or signed on loan, was Tran Van Min. Doesn't sound very English, but he is 21-year-old from Arsenal. Who's brilliant. And I kept on raiding England, and the next player I got was Mick Callister, a central midfielder. Again, really good, a lot of promise, for Manchester United. 20 years old. And because I'd sold a couple of central midfielders, I needed some more. And I got another one, a good lad here, loads of promise from Spurs this time. Emil Boyce, another Englishman. Even though I've not got the English leagues active, got a load of young players, good young players there. But there was one player already here, club captain, 34-year-old, bags of ability, bags of experience. Now I know of him. I didn't realise he was this good. Look at his attributes. Brilliant. And do you know what? He was going to blow me away this year. So that was my squad. We've got some good players. Strootman, Morales, who, if you're from Scotland, you'll know who he is. He's a cracking striker. A few other bits and pieces. A couple of other good young players. Players they'd already brought in. I brought in my own players. The balance was amazing. Fitted both my tactics. I was super excited for this season. Like super, super excited. Now we're in October. I'm going to go through different points of the season. But I'll just start to show you what the expectations are and where we're up to now, before I show you some of the actual results of the games. Now, when it came to the league, they just wanted me to qualify for the Champions League. And we started pretty well at this point in the season, you'll see. We're 4th in the league, played 10, won 7, drawn 2, and we got beat once. Now you'll see that result there. Before I talk about anything else, let's have a look at that. This was my first game. You'll know, like I said, Luis Enrique did the pre-season, and then I came in after he went to Chelsea. And I tried my boot control tactic first. And this is what happened. It was awful. I don't think I've ever been beaten 7-0 in my entire life of playing Football Manager games. 7-0. Now I know you say give a tactic time, but first impressions of my boot control positive tactic weren't good. I panicked and I switched to my boot 4-3-3, the one with the 3 guys in the middle. Just a normal wingers and a poacher. And look at the difference instantly. Look at it! Straight away, 4-0. 4-0. 1-0. Then we drew with Dijon. Then Nimes, who become my nemesis. We beat them this time, 2-1. Guingamp beat them. Paris FC, the team that turned me down. We battered them 3-0. Then we drew with Nantes, and then we beat Lyon 2-1. Back over to the expectations, and let's move on to the big one, the Champions League. And look at this. Some called it the group of death. I got asked in the press, do you think you've got a chance? Originally, maybe no. But once my tactics started kicking in, damn right we had a chance. And at this point, first game we played was Anderlecht, away from home. Battered him, 3-1. Goal from Patrick Roberts. Patrick Roberts is class on this game, by the way. Kevin Strootman is a beast. The old captain is immense. He's awesome. Scores goals for fun. He's a bloody defensive midfielder. This tactic is brilliant. And then we played Chelsea. Beat Chelsea. And Luis Enrique, our old manager, 2-0. And if we just check in on Salernitana, at this point they were third in the Serie A. They still had a great squad. I left him with a young squad full of great wonder kids. Some of them, I'd argue, are wonder kids, but still good players. Obviously, he sold 2 of his best ones to me. He'd also sold Benoit. Do you remember Benoit? Ali made his dream move to Real Madrid. So fair play. He had 2 seasons with me at Salernitana. 37 goals in 67 games. Great striker. Him and Foggy. Brilliant players. If you're wondering who took my job, it's Massimo Carrera. And this dude, he's Italian, he's 60, but he was Atlanta's manager. This is the guy I beat in the Italian Cup final. He's the guy who won the Italian Cup final a year later. He got to a Europa League final. Good manager. Let's jump forward, and now we're in January. It's the 11th of January. Transfer window's open, but I felt like I didn't need to do any business. I thought, let's just ride it out. I've got a great squad here, and we're doing pretty well. You'll see where we are in the league if you look at the top there. So we're doing alright, but I thought we'd start with a League Cup. And the first game we played, we did alright away from home on TV, winning 4-0. But it's the Champions League, where not only was my squad coming into its own, it's a good squad, it's the tactic. The tactic's freaking awesome. Play great football, beat most people. It's brilliant. So, we played Barcelona away and we beat them 2-0. Strootman scored and Morelos. Then we played Barcelona again, beat them 2-1. Roberts and Foggy got the goals. Then we had Anderlecht, a team we should be beating, beat them 3-1. And then Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Luis Enrique got his ass handed to him on a plate again, and we beat him 3-0. And this is who we drew in the next round. Real Hispalis, who I think is Real Betis. If you can help me out, why have they changed the name? I've no idea. When it came to the French League, we may have been third, but it's so competitive. It's such a good league. I've got Foggy at top of the goal scoring charts, or joint top. Romagnolo and Strootman are in the top player charts. Romagnolo's on the assist charts. I mean, Strootman, Romagnolo, Foggy, and a couple of other lads are just playing out of their skins. And if you're interested, I'm going up against some big time managers. Monaco's manager is, of course, Roberto Mancini. If there's one manager I hate more, it's Jose Mourinho. He's manager of Paris Saint-Germain. Guy who tried to ruin Man United, an old Manchester City manager, are my freaking nemesis. And if we look at the results in the league, still not getting beat. I mean, I love this tactic. I'm going to keep saying it. I love this tactic. Now we've jumped forward and it's April. A lot's happened and I can't wait to share it with you. But the first things I want to talk about was my loanees. I loaned 3 players from the Premier League. 2 of them didn't, good players, but struggled to get in the team. And I've not had this happen to me really. But the clubs took them back. But the one I was gutted about was Tran Van Min. Arsenal took him back and then loaned him straight to Watford. But he was my backup. I'm only playing with one striker, so I had Van Min, Morelos, and Foggy. So without Van Min, and because he did it at the very end of the transfer window, I had no time to do anything about it. Left me with just 2 strikers. Because at this point in time, we were top of the league. And top of the league by 4 points. Paris Saint-Germain in second. Monaco dropped down to third. Still only lost the opening game of the season. And I hadn't lost since. Where it wasn't awesome was in the cups. So in the League Cup, we faced Nims, who I talked about earlier. We've got bloody crocodile on the badge. Beat us 5-3, give some players a game, don't get me wrong, but we still had a lot of quality on the pitch. It got worse because we drew Nims. I think that's how you see it, maybe it's Nimes. In the French Cup, 11th round. How many rounds do you need, for God's sake? You don't go into the 9th. Bloody hell, that's all I want to say about that. The Champions League was pretty perfect-ish. We played Real, I'm just going to call them Betis. We beat them 4-1. Then we went to our place, beat them 3-0, bossing it. And then we drew Monaco. We drew Monaco, who we beat 5-0 earlier in the league, remember. Foggy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. So, when I went into the next game, totally B-teamed. It gives some lads a chance who haven't been playing as much. We got beat, but they were never going to win. They were never going to win. In the league, like I said, we still haven't been beaten. Winning game after game. 4-1, 3-0, 4-0, 1-0, 3-1. So we beat Nims in the freaking league. I'm baffled by them cups. Baffled by it. Guingamp, Paris, who are struggling at the bottom of the league, looking like they're going to get relegated. You turned me down, Paris. Look what could have been. I wouldn't have been as successful. The team's nowhere near as good. But I don't think they'd be in the relegation zone. We beat Nantes 6-1. I didn't think I could still score as many goals with one striker. I never believed I could. Lyon, we drew with Lens, beat Auxerre. Paris Saint-Germain, we drew with again. Bloody Jose Mourinho. Laurent, and then we've just beaten Monaco 1-0. I actually went away to Monaco, we lost in the Champions League, and then the next game we were away to Monaco again in the league, but this time I had my full team fully fit because I just hadn't played. We only won 1-0, but at least we beat them. So I'm just a little bit worried because obviously we've got a run-in with the league at this point. We're still in the Champions League, we're out of the Cups, it's a good thing, but I've lost 2 players on deadline day. I've never seen that happen. They took them away from me, couldn't replace them. Got one good kid actually in the reserves, but I just thought as long as we can not get injured, and we've got about 1 million physio, so we shouldn't be that bad. We're going to win something. Kevin Strootman, he is coming to the end of his contract. The deal he wants, I can't give him. He wants to be a coach, and he's not a good coach. He wants stupid wages, and I'm not willing to pay him them. I offered him something, he's turned it down. He's now in the process, which I think is probably the best thing for him, of talking to MLS side, Sporting Kansas City. So it'll be in April, we're out the Cups, you know that. But we've got a semi-final against a team we can easily beat. And we're top of the league with only a few games to go. How is it going to end? My first season at this club has been amazing. I've found a new tactic, I've found new players. It's been a lot of fun. I've got the best staff I've ever had. This is a great opportunity to win something awesome. This came up. A bloody takeover. A dreaded takeover. Don't matter how good you are sometimes. Have you ever done it where you get taken over and they say, we want a new manager in place? And the board's brilliant. They let me do it. Whatever I ask for, they give me. I don't want new bloody owners. Well, there we are. It's the end of the season, nearly. And we did it. We won the league title. We won League 1. I've come from Italy winning a Serie A. I've come to Marseille with expectations just getting the Champions League. Don't get. I bought a couple of good players. I had some really good players. I really believe it's his tactic. I will make it available if you want to have a go of it. And I'd love to know how well it does for you because it's been brilliant. That 3 midfielder thing that I found out about is brilliant. And I've not got players who naturally fit them roles. But it works for me. I want to know if it works for you. And of course, we're still in the Champions League. In the first game, we were at home against Benfica. It was boring. It was totally out of character for our entire season. We were awful. They were awful. Not many chances. It was a chess match of shitness. Right? We scored in the 84th minute. Foggy. I was like, happy days. We've nicked this. And then they scored a couple of minutes later. But we made a lovely trip to Portugal. And we did the job in the second leg, beating them 3-0. Strootman, who is just on fire. The kid is amazing. I'm going to miss him. He scored. Foggy scored. And Patrick Roberts, who I've said earlier is awesome. But honestly, he's awesome. We've been dealt a final against the greatest Champions League team of all time, Real Madrid, who have got my old striker Benoit leading the line, and they're managed by none other than Jurgen Klopp. A guy I want to hate because he's Liverpool manager and I'm a Manchester United fan, but I can't hate him. I quite like him. But unlike us, Real Madrid didn't win their league. This is their big moment. They're going to be going into this game full of drive, wanting to win it. Barcelona won the league. One thing wasn't fully planned out at the start was places in my European squad. I had to drop certain players, some good players as well. There's a young winger, a right winger called Faith Kazelgalugagugi, who one of Luis Enrique's he bought a couple of players in the summer. He bought him, he's brilliant. And I thought he was underage, and I made a couple of choices with kids because they were younger, and they still won't let me put them in the squad. It was weird. I thought I could do that. But we had no injuries, apart from Romagnolo wasn't 100% fit. Could the tactic get me through? Could it get me through? Could it get me through? Damn right it got me through. We just won the Champions League final 4-2. 4-2 against Real Madrid. A pretty good Real Madrid team. It was brilliant. Benoit bottle jobbed it. He bottle jobbed it. Abdoulaye scored for us. Romagnolo scored for us. Roberts scored for us. Castillo, who's a decent central midfielder, scored for us. I gave Strootman a swan song bye-bye and came on in the 77th minute. I didn't come into this club thinking we were going to win leagues and Champions Leagues in my first year. So let's close out this fantastic season of awesomeness with some news. And the first bit of news I watched earlier is the paperwork's been completed and the club now owns its stadium. How good's that? This club's going places. Also, I didn't even ask for this. The club have decided to upgrade the training and the youth facilities. Just keeps on getting better. Let's check in on our commercial news. You'll see there my two favourites, Foggy and Romagnolo, the biggest shirt sellers, with Strootman in third. That's good. But you know, we've made decent money all year long. This club's good. This club's a huge, huge club. And with us being a huge club, obviously we're French champions now and European champions. The takeover talks are still ongoing, apparently. Violet targets Marseille takeover. Got buyers for 794 million, apparently. French business director Nicolas Varlet. He wants to float us on the stock exchange, generating potentially lucrative funds. And like I said, I truly believe we're the biggest team in France. Forget Paris Saint-Germain or Monaco because they're tiny. It's us. And we've just broken our own record for attendance in the league. See what I mean about my tactic? Always, I'm great going forward with stuff. I'm always crap at defending. This one has just worked. And it shows you by the fact that my goalkeeper's just got the most clean sheet record in the league. Well, the team that knocked us out of the League Cup, Nimes, got to the final, to be fair, and got beat off Paris Saint-Germain. So Jose at least won one trophy. The team that knocked us out of the freaking French Cup as well, Nimes, got to the final. They got beat. Let's check in on Salernitana. And they actually finished second, which is good. So, you know, runners up. They were champions. Napoli have won it. Fair play. It's a really exciting league now. If you look at the last few years in Italy, it's really competitive. But they came second, which is great. So that's it. That is the end of the episode. A bit of a bumper episode, but hopefully you enjoyed it. It's been the best season so far for me, for just loving the game, loving watching my team play, loving the results, winning the league, winning the Champions League. Total blew me away really with how good we've been. I'll make the tactic available down below if you want to try it out. Please do. I'm going nowhere for now. We are definitely staying in the south of France with Marseille because we could achieve big things next year. I'll have money to spend. I've got to replace a couple of players. I want to switch a few things about. Sticking with the tactic though. But I might not even be here. This takeover happens. He might sack me. He might bring his own manager in. So I could be somewhere else. The journey could be continuing somewhere else. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure if you did, you smash the like button. If you're new, feel free to subscribe. Come and join the family. Go and check out my Denton Villa series on all my other content. Thank you very much. You've been brilliant. As always, I am loving this. I am loving this journey. It's the best thing I've ever done on Football Manager. Right, I've been Bood. I'll see you next time.